YouTube, what's up guys? Today is the day we are lowering the Toyota Celica GTS. I'm going to show you guys how to install lowering springs or sport springs to make one, the car more aesthetic, two, make it lower to the center of gravity so that it handles better. I'm really excited. I've been wanting to do this since I got this car. The OEM ride height is very high on the Celica. It's very tall, so I'm really looking forward to having it lower to the ground. I'm not sure it's going to fit perfectly with the Scion FRS wheels that I have currently equipped on the Celica, but I think it'll look really good. This will be just a how-to. So if you end up doing like Tanabe springs, TN springs, TRD springs, any kind of springs, this is going to be how you install them. Today we're installing Stag, S-T-A-G-G, Stag springs, and they are 2-inch lowering, so it should be a really nice aesthetic look. Let's go ahead and jump into the garage. I got the jack stands, got the jack. I'm ready to go, so I'm really excited. Let's go ahead and jump in the garage and I'll show you the parts and then we'll go over to the car. Wow, I love this car. It is so little and wide. Oh my gosh, I forgot how awesome this car is. So I actually lowered the rear of the, what kind of car is this? Lotus, my Lotus ELISE. Wow, this thing's a spaceship. I'm so excited to get this running. Still don't have the front clam. Still missing the front clam. But we'll get there, we'll get there. The EXIGE, ooh. So I'm doing an EXIGE swap on the front end. Look at that. But I need the front clamp. Okay, so here are the Stag Sport lowering springs. Stag, I like this brand right here. That kind of reminds me of the TRD right there. That's pretty sick. Stag, don't know much about them, never used them before, so this is a first time try. Honestly, I don't know where you can get these. I don't think there's a website. I'll look for one and try to link it below. But I've showed you guys this. I did a product reveal. I did a, all the parts that I'm gonna use on my Celica reveal, and this is one of them. Let me open this up real quick. Bam, so look at those. That's really good branding. I like that a lot. Stag, it says front on there. This says Stag, it says rear, same thing. So the little ones go on the back, and then the big ones go on the front. Look how perfect color this is to my Tsunami Celica. It's the same color as the Tsunami Celica. I love these springs. I haven't used them. I hope that they're a good performance, but aesthetic wise, I absolutely love them. First and foremost, if you attempt this job at your house, you will need an impact. You're gonna need an impact gun. Whether it's an electric one, you can buy them now that are electric and they have a really nice battery charge. And I don't know the price of those, maybe $100, maybe $200. But I have an air compressor, and I like the air compressor. Why? Because it can go up to, I think, 150 foot-pounds of torque to turn off the nut. You're gonna need to do it on a nut, and I'll show you in this video how to do it, but you will need that. So if you're attempting to do this, you either need an impact gun with an air compressor, or an electrical impact that does probably like 125 foot-pounds of torque, or PSI, one of those. I can't remember what it is, one of those. But you will need that to get that nut off, so I'll show you that. So let's go ahead and go over to the Celica, and we'll lift it up and put it on jack stands. I think I'm just gonna do the rears at the same time and then do the fronts at the same time. So let's do that. So let's lift up the rear of the car. I think that'll be easier than doing one side at a time. So I'll show you guys. Let's do the rear first. So we're gonna use this mounting point. We're gonna use the jack stand and put it right here to lift up the rear of the car. I'll also buzz off the wheels. We'll need to remove the wheels, and I'll do it on this side as well. So we're gonna put jack stands on each one of these sides, and we'll pull the wheels off. So let's lift the car up right now. So first steps first is we got to remove the wheel. Oh, well, I lifted the car. That's the first step. And then now you have to remove the wheel. So we're going to use the impact and just do lefty-loosey. So we got the wheel off. We're going to go and set that aside. We're going to remove, I guess I could probably leave the spacer on there. So let's grab you guys. This is what we are going to be replacing today. You guys see that? So that is a spring right here. This is what we're going to be replacing. Now, the way that we get access to this is we need to get to the top hat, and the top hat is inside of the Celica, and it's going to be kind of a pain, but we are going to remove it, and I'm going to show you how. So let's go inside the Celica, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so you are going to have to come inside the Celica, as you guys can see right here, and you are going to have to remove all these plastics. So I'll show you how to remove the plastics. So what you want to do is you're going to take this off right here, and then this is kind of expose this. What you're gonna do is you're gonna do a lefty, a loosey on this Phillips head. There's a 10mm right here. There's these little push pin clips right there that you gotta remove. Once you have all these removed, I actually would recommend removing the carpet as well too. Kind of just getting everything out of here, because you're gonna have to remove, you want this piece of plastic, you want it all gone. Let's put the seat down as well too, just so we have a lot of room. So we'll do it on both sides for good cleaning activities. Afterwards we'll wipe it all down. We'll get all that set up there. Because this is what we're trying to get, is remove this rear quarter panel, so that we have access to the top hat of the spring, which is right here. So let's go ahead and start doing that. Okay, so to get these out, there's just these little push pins. You push and they look like this. They come out, then you have this plastic out. We're gonna set that aside, kind of put everything forward in the car, because now we've removed this, and I think that this thing just wants to pull out now. I think it's all good, so we're just gonna tug on it. So this is what you're trying to expose. Non-exposed, exposed. 1, 2, and then 3 right there. And I think those are 14mm. I'm pretty sure they're 14mm. And then you're gonna have to get this off. But the way that you get this off is after you've dropped the top hat and the whole spring and strut. So the way that you're gonna drop this now, since that's kind of ready, is I like to do the lower part first. So we're gonna do this one right here, and we're gonna pull that out. So let's go ahead and do that now. I think that's a 16 or 17 on that one. I'll tell you in a second. This may be your arch enemy, and this might be the hardest part of the job. So I want to help you through it. That bolt right there seems to always, I've done this maybe 5 times on Celicas, just on Celicas, and it really is tight there. The impact gun did not want to have it come off. I did get it off, so I use a cheater bar. This is what a cheater bar looks like. See that right there? So this is a metal aluminum bar with a breaker bar, and then what you do is you extend it out here and you push down on it, and it will break it loose. I've actually broken these before, and if you get to that point, you're gonna need a professional, more than 150 psi. You might need like 200 or 300 psi, a real like shotgun. Usually you won't. This cheater bar setup will usually break it loose, and I just broke it loose, so I'm gonna go ahead and do lefty loosey on that and pull that out. Once you buzz those off, they're 14mm, 1, 2, 3. You're gonna come back down here. You'll want to do this bolt right here, because this thing is wanting to hold the suspension up, and this is kind of pushing it down actually. So what you want to do is you want to loosen this so that you have some play here. And then the next thing that you're going to want to do is remove this bolt right here. And the way that I like to do it is you will need a sledgehammer, and you'll mallet it out, and then you use a smaller extension and bang it out. Then once that's out, it will allow the spring and strut to come free, and then we'll be on to the next step. Little intermission. Last time I did this, I went to some shops. Ooh, it's kind of dark in here. I went to some shops and got quoted on this, and they were charging $1,100 to do this. That's a lot of money. So I recommend doing it yourself. If you need help and you get stuck and something's stuck, just comment down below and I'll swing out and help you guys. I monitor the comments, so I want to make sure that I can help you guys with this project, because it is a really good end result. But I always kind of measure my how difficult the jobs are, in my opinion, and this one's a little bit, I would say this is difficult. I would give this like a 4 out of 5. If installing a turbo or rebuilding an engine is a 5 out of 5, and that's probably one of the hardest things to do, is to remove an engine and install a new engine or rebuild an engine or turbo it. I would say that this is the next step, 4 out of 5. This takes a lot of labor, and you can have some hiccups and things don't go the way you want them to go. So if you need help, just comment down below. I'll help you to get through it, because the end results, you guys are gonna love it. All right, let's go ahead and jump back onto what we're... Okay, so here is the main event. This is the hard part. This is why you need the impact. I'm gonna use my bag here. So this is spring loaded. It's not too much force, but it is loaded. And what we're gonna need to do is deload that by doing lefty-loosey with this, and you can't do that without an impact. So I'm gonna use a 17 millimeter, and we're gonna use an impact, and it's gonna shoot off. So we're gonna do lefty-loosey, and here we go. Just like that. Not that hard, not that crazy. Okay, so strut OEM. It has 90,000 miles on it. It should be okay. This is a great time to replace it. OEM spring, huge. Look at the difference. And then aftermarket. So there's a large difference there. This thing's filthy, so I'm gonna take it over and to the cleaning. I'm gonna go clean it and get in my cleaning area and make it look all nice. And then I'm gonna duplicate this onto the other side. I'm gonna show you guys how to reinstall this new spring though. But let's take this over to the cleaning and clean the crud off all this. Okay, so this is the OEM one right here, Toyota right here. Yeah, I think it even says Celica on there. I cleaned it and scrubbed it and it still looks like this, and I don't like it. I think it's unaesthetic. I think that looks bad. So I am actually gonna do some gloss enamel automotive paint. You do not have to do this, but this is a good time to paint these to make them look better. This is just wear and tear on a car that's, I don't know how old is this car? 16 years old. It's normal, but I want my cars to be show worthy. So if anyone ever, removes the wheel and look at it, I don't want them to see this. So I'm gonna paint this. You don't have to do this. And I'm gonna let it dry for about 20 minutes and then we'll reinstall it. Okay, I've been out here for like a total of 2.5 hours. This is a long job and I'm just on the rears. So I did reassemble them after I painted the top hat and the strut, and then I reassembled it. It's the same process. So what you do is you grab the strut, you put the spring over it, then you put this the little cushion between there inside of here. Then you put the rubber, this rubber grommet back over this, and then you slide the top hat on. Then you do this washer, and then you do the 17 millimeter. Once it's all complete, you impact with your impact gun all the way as tight as it can go. Then once you do that, you grab an Allen key and a 17 millimeter and make sure it's very taut and tight because you don't want it to bounce out. Then you reinstall it and you slide the OEM top hat back up. Then you put the, I think this is a 19 millimeter back on. We'll do the 19 millimeter nut here, do the 17 millimeter, push this back in, and then make sure everything's tight, taut, and then we're gonna call it a day on this one. Now we'll repeat it, because this right here is the passenger side. We'll repeat it on the passenger side, so will you. And then if you have any comments or questions, comment down below, I'll help you. Once I do that, I'm gonna put the wheels back on and then lower the car and see what it looks like, and then we'll flip the car around, and I'll do the the front side of it. Okay, so I've completed both sides. Oh my gosh, it's probably like 2 or 3 o'clock, so I've been here about 4 hours just to do the rear. This will be the lowering, so we'll be able to see what it looks like. So let's pull the jack stand. And then we're gonna do a lefty-loosey. Remember, springs and coils, they have to adjust for a while, so it takes a little bit of time. But it'll sit lower after a period of time. That's just the way it looks right now, but it will continue to sit lower. It's already looking really good, actually. Yeah, that looks a lot. All right, check that out. Oh, that looks great. Drove around the block. I can already feel it handles a little bit better. It sits lower, it rides a little bit rougher. That's what they do, a little bit more sporty, but that is what we are going for. Look at that. So 2-inch drop, that's where we're gonna be sitting at, and then here's the back up to the stock ride height. Huge difference. So let's go ahead and do that to the front now. So the front, what we're gonna be doing is you gotta open up the hood first. So all right, next to hood up, car up. You have to lift the car up. So that was the next step. I put it up on jack stands. Right in the front I mounted it. Again, let's remove the wheels. So do lefty-loosey on the wheels. Pull all 5 lug nuts off on each side, and then I'll show you guys how to do the rest. Okay, so these right here are the part of the top hats. So you're gonna use these. These are 12 millimeters. We're gonna do lefty-loosey on those. See, it's much different. It's a lot different. So we got, I think these are 17s, two 17s right here. Much different. And then you're also gonna wanna break this loose because you're gonna wanna pull this whole thing out. So it's a lot different, and it looks a lot different on this one, as you guys can see. But let's go ahead and start doing lefty-loosey. We'll start with these two bolts first. Okay, so once you have these, they're 19 millimeters, two 19 millimeters. Once you have them pulled off, you back them out. This is going to be a 14 millimeter right here with this brake line. You're gonna remove the brake line, and then you're also gonna wanna do the sway bar, another 14 millimeters. So let's back those two off. And then once we have all those off, I think that we should be able to go up to top and do lefty-loosey on the top hats, and it should just pop out on this one. Which one's easier? Probably the fronts, just because the rear has all the plastics, and this is just right up in the engine bay. Yeah, these are pretty darn dirty. So next we're gonna do, because I really want to clean these, and we have them completely removed, as you guys can kind of see they're leaning up against them. What we're gonna do is buzz this off again right here, and then we're gonna separate it, clean it, and then I'll grab the new Stag fronts to install. The rear end is looking pretty good. Okay, so let's go ahead. The bolt that is on top, this right here, is a 19 millimeter, and I use my impact to buzz this off. The top hat falls off, this will all pull apart, and then we'll start cleaning it, and I'll go grab the new springs. Okay, so I reassembled these, and I had my girlfriend actually come help me. It's pretty hard to compress the spring and use an impact at the same time. You can do it. I've seen my brother-in-law do it at the same time, but it's difficult. If you have an extra set of hands, just for someone to pull the impact trigger while you were pushing down on it, it's much easier. You can do it by yourself, it's just a little bit more difficult. As you guys can see, I hit it with another can of, another shot of enamel paint. We're gonna let that one dry, and then I'm gonna go ahead and jump over to the passenger side now. All right, so we've reassembled 14 millimeter with the sway bar, 14 millimeter with the brake line, 19 millimeter, 19 millimeter, and then you come up top, 12 millimeter, 12 millimeter, 12 millimeter. I use the impact gun to tighten those, just to have it real tight on there. I don't torque them. I feel that the impact is strong enough, and I've never had any issues with that, so that's what I do. Let's grab the wheel, put the wheel back on, and then I'm gonna repeat this on the driver's side, because we've completed the passenger side. So 3/4 of the way there. It's about 5 p.m. now, so I've been here about 6 or 7 hours, I'd say. All right, we've completed it. Reverse the steps, could put everything back on, put the wheel back on, did the same thing on the other side. If you have any questions, again, just comment down below. We're gonna put it, pull the jack stand out, and then see how it sits. Just keep in mind, they need to sit for like, I don't know, I would say usually like 20 minutes, and you gotta drive around, and then it really does start to compress, because the shocks are pretty stiff. So when you first see it, it won't look as low, but I'll go drive it around and you'll see it's much lower. So let's lower the car. Oh yeah, looks good though. This is a lot lower. Man, I'm beat up. I'm getting old. This takes a lot of energy, like literally all day. The sun's going down, it's about 8 o'clock. I actually did wash the car and then put some tire shine. Black Magic, or yeah, Black Magic I think is what it is. Tire shine looks really, really good. I love that I chose Toyos. I was gonna go with a different wheel or tire, but I really enjoy the Toyos. It looks really good. Handling, we'll do another video for that. I haven't driven it. I mean, I've driven like 0.9 miles. I haven't driven it very far. So I'd like to know how it handles, but already the ride is pretty good, I'd say, for being aftermarket springs. Sometimes they're really stiff and sometimes they're really bouncy. Pretty good. So I'm pretty thrilled with Stag. Way to go. I don't know anything about Stag, but yeah, I'll find some information and put it in the section below. But I really liked how this turned out. I think they look really good. Overall, it's a 2-inch drop. 2 inches was what they claim. So I think it looks really good. It's not a 1 or anything like that. It is definitely a 2, and it's very visible in the back. I think that looks perfect. Look at the wheel and then look at the rear bumper. It's actually really perfect. There is no poke. It doesn't stick out. It's just happy. It's just a really good line on front and on rear. Very aesthetic in my opinion. I think it looks very good. Definitely wanting to do black wheels though. In my last video I asked you guys, hey, should I do black wheels or should I leave them like this? And I think I'm gonna decide I want to do them black. So I'll show you guys how to do them black. And I can do a pretty good job with them. So I'll pull them off again and do black wheels. I'll paint them gloss black. I'll do a really good job on it. But I actually really love the way that this car's coming together. I'm exhausted. This is a hard job to do. I would say 4 out of 5. This is probably one of the most difficult jobs. If you pull the OEM springs off and just throw them away and then install some kind of coilover, I think that's easier in my opinion. I think it's a lot easier because all you have to do is adjust two little levers below, and then you get the right ride height, and then you can do stiffness, and that's about it. These ones you have to take apart the entire, as you guys saw, the entire OEM spring and strut and then reassemble it. And clean it, it's a big deal, but it turned out really good. Definitely worth it. So if you have any questions or anything, comment down below. Make sure to hit the like button for this. I hope this was helpful for you guys. This is how to install lowering springs and make your car, my car looks slammed. I think it looks really good. It's not too slammed, it's not like scraping or anything, but it looks really good. I got a lip that I'm gonna be putting on the front of the car, and then I might do a side skirt extension. And then I really want to do a TRD wing too. And I need tint, and I want a black roof, but it's really looking good, I think. Make sure to hit the like button. Swing by MITCHDORE.com, grab your side markers, grab a TRD steering wheel, grab a microfiber, whatever you want. Again, make sure to hit the like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.